And here we are on another Tuesdays for Facilitation. It is Tuesday. Well, this is a pre recorded event, as you might know, but I have to say today that I'm very happy to, I've invited Moreni Keji, who's from Nigeria. Hello, Moreni Keji.
Hi, báwo ni o?
Oh, hello. So I've started this season of Tuesdays for Facilitation in Nigeria in December. I was there fully on. And Morini Keji is the last guest of the season, and she's from Nigeria. I felt that I had to end this season in Nigeria. We will have one more episode, the 12th episode of the whole season. I'll be by myself. I'll be presenting a new moment for Awele, a new moment for our company. But I'm really happy about this conversation, and I'm really excited. And you guys are going to learn more about this throughout this conversation, also throughout this convo that we're having. So
Yeah.
this is Tuesdays for Facilitation. Every Tuesday we gather here. I invited different professionals to talk about how facilitation is a multi-sectorial and timeless skill. So Moreni Keji, everyone that arrives here has to answer one question, which
Okay.
is, how do you show up when you facilitate?
Okay, for me as an oluko, as a teacher, I facilitate through teaching, right? So when I enter a classroom, either physical or online, virtual, I come as my real self. I find that people learn easier, they learn better, much more effectively when they're at home, when they are themselves, when they're comfortable. So I create a comfortable environment by coming as myself. I'm a very funny person. I don't take things too seriously. And so I make my lessons really fun, really down to earth, really personal. I like to connect with my students on, a personal basis, know about their lives if they want to. Those that don't want to, I know how to bring them out of their shells very slowly. But I come as myself, make them comfortable by being comfortable myself, and I find that we have amazing learning sessions that even go beyond learning how to speak a language. From there we build friendships, we build relationships, and it's just a wonderful thing to see.
So, as Morenica just said, she's a Yoruba teacher. It's our one and only one girl Yoruba. Um, being Brazilian, I did one of these DNA tests, and then I found out I'm 19% Nigerian, and that makes
Oh, wow.
sense. Chances are I am Yoruba. Brazil is one of the biggest Yorubas diaspora of the world. So I've gathered some data on Yoruba people around the world just to contextualize this conversation because I think that really
Yeah.
matters, right? So we're speaking here about a major West African ethnic group, maybe more than 50 million people, primarily inhabiting Nigeria, Benin, and Togo.
Yes.
The vast majority are in Nigeria, and they're around 20% of the population, right? Of the country's population. That's a lot of people.
Yes.
It's a lot of people. That makes the Yoruba people one of the largest ethnic groups in Africa, right?
Yes.
Official numbers also stipulate that there are more than 1 million Yoruba people in the diaspora. And Yoruba culture and Yoruba spirituality and traditions are known aspects in Afro Brazilian religions and Afro Cuban Santeria, right? That ought
Yes.
to contextualize that when we talk about Yoruba, we're talking as an ethnic group and consequently as a language, right? We are speaking
Yes.
about a lot. And we're not
Yes.
only speaking about Nigeria, right? And I think that's important to contextualize
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
How did you, as a Yoruba girl, decide to start teaching Yoruba?
Okay, I would say that I did not choose to do this by choice. I mean, not at first. So in Nigeria, we have these examinations that you have to take before you get into a university. And when I took mine, I did not meet the cutoff mark for my choice of course of study. And so I had to go for another course with a much lower cutoff mark. So I wouldn't stay one more year at home, waiting for the next year because you could only write these exams once a year. And so I chose linguistics. And then I got to school only to find out that linguistics came with Yoruba language. And so I had to study linguistics with Yoruba as my major studies. And it was awkward because I'm Yoruba. I'm already Yoruba. I can already speak Yoruba language, or so I thought before I started studying it as a course in the university. But in the course of my 4 years of study, I found out that there is a lot. I mean, there were a lot of things that I did not know. Even as a speaker of Yoruba language, my knowledge was only confined to, my part of the world where I lived in, which is Lagos. I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. And there are other parts of Yoruba land that I did not know anything about, other aspects of our culture that I knew nothing about. And learning about all of that, our tradition, our history, just made me connect more with my identity as a Yoruba person, as an African, and as a Black person on a global scale. And that just gave me. I took leverage from that because I went on to turn it into a whole business, teaching my language and culture to other people around the world. And that is the ultimate form of self-preservation that I know. And so it's been an amazing journey.
And I would bet you learned a lot about yourself too, right?
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, where I came from, my undergraduate research project was about the history of my hometown, which I knew nothing about before that period. So I had to visit my hometown for the very first time. And there are a lot of Yoruba people who don't even know where they're originally from, in from the different Yoruba states that we have in Nigeria. So it was an enriching experience for me.
Morenikeji, as you were speaking and when
Mhm.
you presented yourself saying that you use fun ways to teach,
Yeah, yeah.
this reminds me of someone that I've met in Nigeria, and he told me, he's a Yoruba man, and he told me, you made the DNA test, 90%. And then I was like, yeah. And he's like, I think you're Yoruba. You're funny. We are funny
Mm.
people.
Funny people, yes. Yes.
You're not too serious, right? You don't take yourself too serious. So
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about that. I know you have
Mhm.
some creative ways of
Oh, yes,
teaching.
I do.
I wanted
Yeah,
you to
yeah.
share a little bit about that.
Okay, so when I started teaching Yoruba language, I realized that I could not recommend anything fun to my students for them to buy, to learn, to help them learn Yoruba. And so I thought, how about I fill the void? And so I came up with fun ways to help them learn Yoruba, learn about the language and culture. And the very first thing I created was a card game about Yoruba riddles. Alo Apamo. It helps with verbal reasoning, creative thinking in Yoruba language. Next was a Yoruba game of charades. It's the normal charades guessing game, but in Yoruba language. So while you guess, you have to think of what that gesture means in Yoruba, and it helps my students, build vocabulary and have fun while doing it. Next, I did the Yoruba word search puzzles. So it's a pocket book of puzzles in Yoruba language. And not just puzzles, as you're, filling the puzzles and looking for words, you're learning new vocabulary, you're learning what they mean in English. There are pictures for some for you to see what you're learning, but there is no English word. So everything is in Yoruba, but it's in a way where you know what you're looking for, because while the puzzles are not in English, the translations are in English. So it's a fun, a fun little way, because the book is so little. It's a fun little way to learn Yoruba language. And with in addition to other digital resources, worksheets that anyone can get on our website. I just have fun creating these resources. So I'm the creator I wish I had, or I'm the Yoruba tutor I wish I had when I was younger, because I make Yoruba fun to learn.
Yeah, you do make Yoruba fun, and I want to speak about that because I've got my own experience, right? So I
Mhm.
met Morenikeji, I think it was December the 30th. So
Yeah.
I think it was exactly the day that I launched the second season of Tuesdays for Facilitation. I recorded in the
Mhm.
morning, and then we met. And then we
Yeah.
went to visit in Lagos, the J. Randall Center,
Yeah.
which has an amazing exhibit on Yoruba culture and Yoruba people, right?
Yeah.
I learned a lot. And I wanted for you to share the story of how the Yoruba land was created, like the
Mhm.
cosmovision of how Yoruba people have emerged in this planet.
Yeah. So like every other culture around the world, we have our own story of, how everything we see came to be, the creation story. And the Yoruba people are no different. We have our creation story. And according to the folklore, because no one was there when it happened. According to the story, it was believed that Olodumare, which is God, the creator of everything, sent Obatala to create the earth. But Obatala got drunk and fell asleep and forgot the mission. But then Olodumare sent Oduduwa, which was another deity, believed to be the progenitor of the Yoruba race. I sent Oduduwa to take on the task from Obatala, who was drunk and asleep. So Oduduwa took the instruments that Olodumare had given Obatala, which were four: a long chain, a five-toed chicken, a piece of cloth, a rag, and some sand. And so he took these instruments from Obatala and then came down to earth. With a long chain, he climbed from heaven to earth, heaven to earth. But then when he got to the middle, I remember at that time the whole earth was filled with water. The Bible also testifies to this in Genesis. The whole earth was filled with water. And so when he got to the middle of heaven and earth, he poured the sand on the surface of the water. And on that particular surface, it turned to dry land. And so when it turned to dry land, he sent the five-toed chicken. I always wonder why it had to be a five-toed chicken, by the way. He sent a five-toed chicken to the dry land. And so where the chicken met ground, he spread the sand. And so the chicken kept spreading the sand with his feet until there was land for man to live. And and so on that spot is where we believe to be the present Ile Ife. At that time, it was Ile Ife, meaning the ground from which the earth spread. But now it's believed to be Ile Ife. For the Yoruba people, it means the home from which we spread around the world. Ile Ife is an actual town in Osun State in Nigeria.
Yes, yes, that I wished I had visited. I didn't
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
chance because
You,
it's going to be on the next trip,
yes.
since in Nigeria we go long back.
Mhm. Yes.
And maybe we'll go along further. And I think this is the reason why I chose the name of teaching Yoruba for the past, as
Mhm.
to honor our history and our
Yeah.
ancestors,
Yeah.
but also teaching Yoruba for the future, because now we're talking about legacy. We're talking
Yeah.
about the importance of maintaining a language, which means that we are maintaining a culture
Yeah.
for further generations. And if you don't know where you came from, and I'm from Brazil, and our history is so painful in the sense of we don't know who our ancestors were, right? So it
Yeah.
is very important that you do have and bridge culture with language, with
Yeah.
right. A lot
Yeah.
of things come with language, even the way that you speak the words, the way that
Yeah.
your mouth gesticulates, the way that
Yeah.
your tongue rolls when you
Yeah.
speak your thing,
Yeah.
when you're
Yeah.
doing that. I should I speak four languages, right? So I should know. I always say that I have
Yeah.
like four personalities. There's one Thai, and they are
For
very
each
good
language.
at that. Yes. And I
Yeah.
think I don't know if you have been to that with your students, because
Mhm.
I tell people that the best way for you to learn a language is for you to
Mhm.
give up on the person that you are, on your mother language, and then
Mhm.
start
Take
from
up a
scratch,
new personality.
because we are really speaking about a different way of moving our bodies, a different way of
Mhm.
gesticulating. So things that I do with my hands might not be something appropriate in another
Yeah.
culture, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are speaking about a whole part of a body, which is in your head, that is now
Yeah.
moving on a different way. It's
Yeah.
now working on a different way.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's
It's
so
wonderful.
So I want to speak a little bit about the importance of learning another language as a structured process,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and I think many people look for you because they grew up in the diaspora or they have other ties with Yoruba people or even with
Mhm.
Yoruba land itself.
Mhm. Mhm.
And one of your students has recently gone viral. He spoke his vows in Yoruba.
Yeah.
He's an English white man, right? Tell
Mhm.
us a
Yeah.
little bit about this story because the video was like all over the place. And then
Yeah. Okay.
white guy going on, pulling on,
Speaking
kicking off on
Yoruba.
his Yoruba.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience for us as his tutors because Tyler has to be one of the most intentional students we've ever had at One Yoruba Girl Education because he came fully committed, fully invested. He always made time. It wasn't someone who made excuses. If Tyler doesn't come to class, it has to be a literal life and death or life or death situation because he works as a surgeon and so he has to be saving someone's life for him to not make it to class. It was a wonderful experience and seeing someone like that dedicate months of learning to be able to do that for his wife, for his family, to show that he was committed to the marriage, the relationship, to express his love for his new bride in the way that in the ultimate way you could do that was a beautiful experience for us. So we had a lot of fun teaching Tyler and is presently still taking classes. He wants to become a fluent Yoruba speaker and we are so happy to help him achieve that goal. Yeah.
And I am 300% sure that his in laws are even happier than us right now.
Very, very proud of him. I met all of them. The wedding day, everyone was just thanking me. Oh, and you let Tyler Yoruba share. Thank you for teaching Tyler Yoruba. It was an amazing experience, and the honor he also gave us on the day. It was just it made us see beyond what we do as just teaching a language. It's also connecting people, creating pathways for people to have stronger relationships, and really, I'm just very blessed to be doing this.
I love that. Like, I watched the video and I'm like, my man Tyler, he has raised the bar
He
up
has raised
here
the bar.
for
Oh,
interracial relationships. Like, it's
yes,
up there, it's over all of us.
yes,
And
yeah.
and I think it's we have a saying in Portuguese, which is this
Mhm.
woman is being loved out loud. And
Mm,
if we look at marriage as getting married not only to that significant other but also to the
mhm.
family, and to
Yeah,
the family means their culture, to the family
yeah,
means
yeah,
their morals, their
yeah,
ethics, like
yeah,
the way that they do things, the way that they
yeah,
speak, the languages,
yeah.
like
And
everything.
embracing all of that. Yeah.
Yes, you're actually becoming someone's ancestors, right? Now you're gonna be kids and everything. So um,
Yes, and they're going to refer to you as their ancestor, their forefather. And it was just a white man who decided to,
yes,
embrace this culture. Yeah.
beautiful history for the past and for the future again. Do you have any other stories, like what type of people are learning Yoruba today? Like what mostly are your clients?
Oh well,
Your students?
so we have our students learn Yoruba for various different reasons. But the most popular of all, I have to say, is people who learn because their significant other is Yoruba. I mean, next to children, because parents would enroll their children. Parents who are Yoruba or who have mixed heritage, one parent is Yoruba, the other isn't. They want their children to be able to, continue the legacy, speak Yoruba, take the culture into the next generation, But for adults, most of our learners are people who have significant others who are Yoruba. You know, others are people who have Yoruba heritage, but they've lived in the diaspora all their lives or majority of their lives, and they want to be able to come back to their roots, embrace their culture, or people who are looking forward to coming to Lagos in December and want to be able to, put their family members to shame who used to think they couldn't speak Yoruba. So a lot of fun different reasons, and we embrace all of them, because every reason is valid, and it's just a different kind of feeling it gives you when you can connect to your language and culture in that way and be able to communicate, with people from where you come from. There's just a part of you that it heals, and we're happy to be able to help them, achieve that goal.
You're saying about people who are coming to Dirty December, and
Yes.
that they would speak like it's their way of, it's their matrix pill for their aunties.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yes.
like, hey, your auntie.
And being able to respond, not just understand, being able to respond to speak back in Yoruba. Yeah. Yeah.
Which I know it's something culturally actually very important to interact.
Yeah.
I have my own stories to with indigenous languages,
Language.
right? I have my own
Yeah.
stories with
Mm-hmm.
places. I lived in Paraguay, and
Mm-hmm.
I was going to indigenous villages. So Paraguay's first language is Spanish, and then the second most
Mm-hmm.
spoken is Guarani, which is an indigenous language. It's the
Mm-hmm.
biggest ethnic group. And then we would go to the villages,
Mm-hmm.
and they would serve the food, and I'm like, oh no, I can't be starving. So I learned how to say I'm hungry. I learned how to say three things, Moranika G. I learned how to say I'm
Mm-hmm.
hungry, this is delicious,
Mm-hmm.
and I want more.
That's all.
That's all. At the end of the day, this is how we connect as people, right?
Mm-hmm.
We eat
Yeah,
together.
food is a very important aspect of culture.
Yes, and I mean, I think that's interesting because it does happens like that in South America too. But there's absolutely nowhere in the whole of African continents. We're speaking
Mm-hmm.
about 54 countries that you're not gonna go to someone's house and you're not gonna be fed. So
There's
I
no
went.
way you're going to go to somewhere and they're not going to feed you.
No, no, no. That's not. It's not gonna happen. So it was so funny, Moreni Keji, because I I would see that they're serving food, and I'm like, I'm by myself. So people who are around me, only one person spoke Spanish, so that I could only communicate directly,
Oh,
and I kept being
mm-hmm.
like reliant. So that's why I learned the whole I'm hungry. So they would be
And it
like, okay,
helps.
we can do something with her here. So I'll be like, I'll come by, and I'm like, I'm hungry, and then they're like, wait, what? Repeat this. Repeat this. Again. What did you say? Hey, you guys, listen to this. Say it again. Say it again. And I'm like, I'm hungry, and then all of a sudden, instead of just being someone who's so different from them, they're laughing they're laughing at me at this point, but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but we're interacting, and then they're like, what else do you know how to say? And then I said, I want more, and this is delicious. And they're like, huh, interesting, this one's very useful for a lot of things. And this is all I've gotten, what I mean. And then I went to Senegal. I
Yeah.
lived in the villages, right? So Senegal, the second most spoken language, I think it's Wolof. So I'm living in the village, and I learned in the
Mm-hmm.
village that in Wolof, culturally, like what you need to know are the greetings. So you meet someone, and you're like, hello, how are you? How is your family? How is your mother? How is your father? How is your brother? How is your sister? How is your
How are your
kids?
children?
How's it? Yeah, I don't have children. And then when they didn't ask me to get married to them, then that's what they were asking. Like they're like, hey, how's your family? And I'm like, how do you know I have a brother? It's like, it's the village. The words they rush.
They're very
I want.
caring. They want to know how you're doing.
Yes, yes. It's such and Thai come to eat. And the whole thing about, no, what do you mean you're not eating? What is this nonsense?
Exactly.
You already
Yeah, and
ate?
that's the wonderful thing. Because they don't just ask for asking sake. They don't just ask you to say, "Oh, I'm fine." You can actually say, "Oh, I'm not fine. This is the problem," and everyone tries to come together to help you solve it. Which is, I would say one of like the core differences between our African cultures and that of the West. We genuinely care and we live a very communal life, and people really want to know how you're doing. So you're not expected to just say fine every time. You can say you're not fine.
Yes, and then if you say that your father is not well, they'll be like, I'll say a prayer for them, and they don't even know. They don't even know if you have a father. So I want to, we're getting we're getting to the end of this, but I had to bring my resources too, as you know, girl. So I got to
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria and I got this book. It's How to Be a Nigerian by Pete Inahoro. This was
Mm-hmm.
written in 1966. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's a
Mm-hmm.
short book, very funny. It cost me like 5,000 naira. I had the name here. Um, this is something. And I had to bring this up because the first phrase, and I'll read it, right? So it's a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of short chapters. And then the second chapter, so the first one is Who are the Nigerians? The
Mm-hmm.
second one says Unity in Diversity. And the first
Mm-hmm.
phrase says Europeans talk about the weather, Nigerians talk about tribe. And I think when we talk about heritage, right? When we're talking about legacy,
Mm-hmm.
we do have to talk about tribe because we're talking about where so many of us have been. So many of the one of us that have been here before us, right? They have
Yeah.
been the lands that our ancestors have stepped,
Mm-hmm.
the paths they have crossed, the forests that they have planted, the trees that they
Mm-hmm.
have planted, which is something
Yeah.
that we completely disconnected here on the city or here in a so-called Western world.
Yes.
Um, we disconnected with that, and I find it beautiful that you have decided to teach that because you're not only teaching how do I get to a place and communicate with auntie, you're
Mm-hmm.
teaching like cultural resilience, right?
Yeah.
You're teaching
Yeah.
neuroplasticity. You're teaching also the future of how
Yeah.
who are the people who are going to speak Yoruba in the so-called
Mm-hmm.
future, right?
Yeah.
Who is
Yeah.
adding on to the language.
Yes. Yes. It's my life's calling. I've realized, and I'm very happy about it.
I am very happy about it too. So I'll let you, sell your fish, as we say in Portuguese. How do people get classes or get the resources? You said there are some free things on the website?
Yes, of course. So if you go to www.oneyorubagirl.com. So when I started my business, I was just one Yoruba girl who wanted to teach a language, and so that became the name of my business. So if you just add a .com to the name, it takes you to our website where you can book classes for children, for adults. We have our summer classes coming up for children. We have an Operation Speak Yoruba by December for adults. So if you have a goal of coming home by December, you can speak Yoruba confidently by December. So join our group classes on our website. You can also get all these fun resources that I've shown you on our website at oneyorubagirl.com. If you want to chat with us, reach out to us on any social media platform: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, at One Yoruba Girl. And just send us a DM and we'll take it from there.
Oh, this is very nice. Thank you very much
Thank
once
you
again,
so much
Renikaji.
for
It
having
is
me.
always a pleasure to be talking with you, to be learning
Thank
with you.
you. Thank
And I can't
you.
wait to see this future that
Me too.
you're building.
Me too.
And maybe
Me
by the
too.
end of the year, I might get some Yoruba classes before December. Who knows?
Or maybe by the end of the
I
year,
might
I will
always be on
be.
my way. Oh. I might always find my way. Oh. My
Yes.
way back home. All right.
Yes. I'm
Thank
so
you
happy
very
for you.
much.
Thank you so
And
much.
everyone, I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.